If you're a pet owner or just love animals, this episode is for you. Hello and welcome to Business Sense. I'm Ralph Rivas. For today's episode, we have Carlo Flordeliza, founder of PetPal, a startup for, well, your pets. Carlo, tell us about this app, the features, what can we do, and what are the other possibilities dito sa app? Yeah.
Good day. Thank you for having me here. So I'd love to tell you more about PetPal. PetPal is a mobile app that seeks to really become a lifeline for a lot of pet owners in the country. The app, which is available in both Android and Apple, provides a lot of healthcare services. So we have teleconsultation, which basically gives you a one-on-one video consultation with a vet to answer your concerns, your needs, or any other questions that you may have about your pet. We also have chat with a vet at 199 pesos. If you're anxious about your pet, you just want a quick chat with a licensed professional, you can also do chat with a vet just to basically get the answers in the quickest possible time. We also have home vet visits and home vaccinations, wherein instead of bringing your pet to the vet, it's the vet who goes to you. We can do tests at home, we can do vaccination, and we can even do checkups and follow-up checkups for any concerns. We also have home grooming through our partners. They can go to your house, make sure that your pet is washed, trimmed, and looking fresh, which is also beneficial for their health. And finally, we also have the PetPal Club. The PetPal Club is our subscription that basically nets customers unlimited teleconsultation for an entire year, for 6 months, or even for a month. So this is especially perfect for pet owners who already have senior dogs that have a lot of health concerns, and even for pet owners such as what I experienced 3 years ago who don't really know anything how to take care of a pet. So if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling worried, or if you just want to understand why is my pet nipping me constantly, you have PetPal Club so that you can book a call and immediately talk to a vet who knows a vast swath of knowledge when it comes to taking care of a pet.
Yeah, that's nice kasi well, yung teleconsultations that became common during the pandemic, right? For people, but ngayon lang ako nakarinig na meron na rin pala for pets. So, walk us through that conceptualization. How did you come up with this business? What's the inspiration?
Yeah, from my perspective, the best startup ideas really comes from people who feel the pain point and who feel the challenges. And from those challenges and trials, they created a startup to also seek an answer to it and to help people with that same problem. So, funnily enough, I conceptualized the idea of PetPal while I was stuck in a meeting with 917 Ventures. We were talking about something, I don't know, and my dog, a 3-year-old Pembroke Welsh Corgi named Pippin, who I named after my favorite Lord of the Rings character, was exhibiting signs of a fever and a cold. So you can feel the stress, right? I'm trying to trial and error certain clinics in the area. They're not replying to me through Viber, through SMS. Once I was able to get the schedule after a couple of hours, I had to leave work, go to the house, get a transportation, take to the clinic, etc. And when we actually went to the clinic, we realized that the problem wasn't that big. It was just a run-of-the-mill cold. But
when nasayang na yung oras.
Nasayang na yung oras, and nasayang na yung pera.
Yeah.
And I was lucky enough that my office is near the house and my clinic is near the house. But that got me thinking, what about the other people who has to take their dogs or their cats in a jeepney, in a tricycle, or has to travel to another part of the city in order to get the consultation? What about those people who are working from home and really can't afford to take a leave because it would mean a cut in their paycheck? So since 917 Ventures already has a technology because of Health Now and Consulta MD, we thought, why don't we bring this technology to the pet industry. And I did a lot of interviews, also talked to vets, talked to clinics, talked to pet owners, and realized that this is really a nagging pain point. And there's a lot of Filipino pet owners out there who could benefit from such a service, especially the Philippines, because 79% of all households have pets in their houses. So there is a sizable market for this kind of service that we're doing.
Yeah, pero that's the thing is, kung tao na magte-teleconsult, that person can say the symptoms sa parang, Doc, masakit katawan ko, yung ulo ko, ganyan. Pero yung aso, kung aso halimbawa, di ba, nagbabark lang yun, kung pusa, parang, ano lang yun, nagiging sassy or whatever. So parang, tell us parang, how does that work, the teleconsultation? Parang, yung, when you were conceptualizing, parang, pwede kaya to?
It's a lot of questions. I suppose when it comes to a consultation for a human concern, it's pretty much straightforward. Doc, I feel a pain, I'm feeling this, etc. But when it comes to the pet, it starts off with what are the unusual things happening in the pet right now. And from that particular question, that's the opportunity the vet enters in order to ask further questions. Is there difficulty in their breathing? Is there difficulty when it comes to sleeping? Is there difficulty when it comes to walking? Do they have skin concerns? What can you say about the eyes, the fur, etc.? So it's a lot of questions to get to what are the potential causes of the concern. And even if you get to the potential causes of the concern, there are certain things that can't be addressed by teleconsultation, which is exactly why we have home vet visits, in order to, create a way for the pets to actually be checked by a vet, either by handling them or by getting blood samples, getting skin scraping. Perfect example is what happened to me. So my dog Pippin has very sensitive skin, and realized she kept on scratching, and she had dandruff. So I had a teleconsultation, and through PetPal, they told me that these were the possible causes. But in order to get to the root of the problem, there needs to be a skin scraping test. So it became so convenient for me. After teleconsultation, immediately book a home vet visit in PetPal. 24 hours after, the vet came to our condominium and then did a skin scraping test. And after all of the tests, we realized that she was allergic to all of things chicken. So that's actually, so it became...
Mas picky eater na yung...
mas picky eater ang dog ko, even though she loves chickens. And then the recommendation was change to a different diet. And if you're mixing wet food to your to the kibble, you can choose an alternative meat. So we went with rabbit. And after a year since that happened, the scratching has minimized. There are no more dandruff, and she's totally in love with the rabbit meat we keep on giving her. So that becomes the experience. Granted, there are also some experiences that can't wait for a teleconsultation and a home vet visit. And this is something that I forgot to mention at the beginning of our conversation. We also have a book a clinic feature. So God forbid, nabunggo yung aso. Or a dog was able to get into some chocolates, and we know that's poisonous. For the knowledgeable pet owners, that doesn't mean a teleconsultation or a home vet visit. That means an emergency visit to a clinic. So through PetPal, you can also book a clinic visit to the nearest clinic in your area so that we can get them the first aid that they need. If a pet owner doesn't know how to proceed, that's where a teleconsultation and chat can come in. If you do it on a certain day, sasabihin ng mga vets namin, ma'am, kailangan na po dalhin sa clinic to. Ito po yung mga clinic in your areas. Dalhin na po natin ngayon para maagapan, and so we can save the fur baby's life. Yeah.
Now, tell us more about the pet industry. I mean, of course, PetPal is still quite young. Pero but before launching, I assume you did lots of research about this market. Ano ba? Mas prefer ba talaga ng tao na ngayon yung pets over
Yeah.
children? Ano ba? Any insights on that?
In the Philippines, it's a billion peso market, and it's continuously growing year on year. The real boom of the pet industry came during the pandemic. Of course, there are various reasons, staving off the loneliness of the pandemic, wanting to take care of someone. But definitely, it was noted that there was a sizable increase in the number of pet owners in the Philippines. Like right now, like what I mentioned, 79% of all households have pets in their houses. And we discovered when we were doing research last year that there's a 12.1 increase in pets per household, meaning for those pet owners who already have pets, they're actually toying with the idea of getting another one or adopting another one. In terms of the pet industry, it's a very healthy pet industry. We have a lot of mobile groomers popping up, grooming salons popping up. In Facebook, you can see people offering their stud services or pet walking services and pet sitting services. And you just go through Grab, Lazada, and Shopee. You can see the vast number of pet stores and pet merchants offering a lot of services. But I suppose the problem is right now it's a fragmented market. So for example, before PetPal, as a pet owner, my wife and I had to keep around 10 to 12 businesses in our phones for food, for wet food, for grooming, for vaccines, for clinic. And it becomes, it occupies a lot of space in your brain, especially if you love your pet as much as I do. So the goal for us is not just to provide healthcare services, but to eventually create a one-stop shop for everything a pet owner needs. We're starting with healthcare right now because we realize that this is a major pain point among pet owners, and there's a large number of people who don't even bring their pets to the vet.
I think yung nakikita ko dito is I remember this incident na yung friend ko, nahirapan siya maghanap ng vet past midnight.
Correct.
So, parang ang dami niyang kailangang tawagan, like naghahanap siya sa Facebook, ganun. So, but this one, definitely addresses that na parang 24-hour, wala masyado, no? 24 hours.
Meron, pero that's also, I think, one of the inherent problems in the industry. People don't know kung sino yung mga 24-hour services. Or it's not as marketed and advertised as well as your human hospitals.
Yeah.
So that's what we want to change. At the end of the day, PetPal is a two-sided marketplace. It's not just for pet owners, it's also for the vets and clinics who already have these services available. So if we can find the opportunity to help pet owners and at the same time bring our vets and clinic owners to the digital age and help them actually increase their market penetration and their revenue, it's a win-win for pets in the pet industry.
Okay, so minention mo na inuna niyo muna yung
healthcare.
Yung sa healthcare. So what's next? What's the plans for this year, or I don't know, in the medium term?
Definitely expanding grooming. Grooming is a recurring service that pet owners want, and it's something in a service that they want every 45 to 60 days. Second is we realize that we have a problem when it comes to vaccinating pets. They do need to be vaccinated every year, and even puppies require their 5, if I'm not mistaken, vaccinations in order for them to be safe, in order for them not to infect other pets in their area. So we are also going to do a lot of, I would say, pop-up blitzes in order to bring vaccination services to various parts of the country. Naturally, you mentioned people needing the service at odd hours. We also want to labor towards providing emergency services. Mahirap naman talaga magdala ng aso sa clinic, especially if that dog is one of the large size breeds and you don't have a car. So is it possible for us to actually work with a clinic that has ambulance services to bring the dog to the clinic? And eventually, it's also bringing other pet businesses into the platform. Bringing your other grooming salons, working with insurance partners in the country to provide protection and security for all of the pets. And even later on, we're not discounting the idea that we might want to invest in wearables. If there are a lot of pet owners who are really deliberate about monitoring their pet's health, a wearable where you can look at how many calories they burned, what's their
Wow.
temperature. Not much different from a Fitbit, di ba?
May Fitbit yung aso.
It is going to be helpful for them. I mean, that's already a solution in itself for people who don't know that their pets are obese. And that's something that I constantly think about. Kasi corgis are very stumpy, so they have weak bones. So parang kami, we obsess over the weight of the corgi because we don't want her to eventually experience osteoporosis during her senior years. Yeah.
Now, so ano pang plans? I mean, you already mentioned this, that it's going to be basically a super app, right? You need additional funding, ano pa ba? Or 917 Ventures is all in on this?
917 Ventures is all in on this. In terms of the plans, I think the goal for us is how do we solve more pain points? How do we help more pet owners? How do we tell the people who don't necessarily have a clinic in their radar that there is a lifeline for them? And it's also working closely with veterinarian professionals. How can we help you? What do you guys need in the clinics in order to digitalize your operations? How can we make sure that you guys practice more and earn more money? So it's not just it's not just in service of the pet owners, it's in service of the larger pet industry, especially our veterinarians and clinic owners who are there ready to accept all of these pet cases. Yeah.
Now, na-mention mo na kanina na the inspiration behind this business is your dog. So, paano mo pinitch yun to 917? Or did you have to pitch this?
Yes, I pitched this to 917 Ventures. Funnily enough, I wasn't a venture builder in 917 Ventures prior to my role now. I was actually head of growth marketing. So I took care of the marketing needs of all of the other portfolio companies and seeds. When it happened, I talked to my then boss, and sabi ko, what do you think of this idea? Is there merit in it? And then I did the work, interviewing friends, interviewing random people, getting information from my clinics and other vets. And I realized that, this may have merit as an idea. So I pitched this to 917 Ventures Mancom. They liked the idea. They supported it. They gave their builds, did a lot of revision. And sometime in, if I'm not mistaken, August of 2022, I pitched the seed version of the idea. At the onset, PetPal was really a teleconsultation service. That's what we started with, and that's what we launched. During our seed round, where we were testing a lot of things and we were gathering a lot of feedback, and there was this feedback loop with a lot of our initial customers, we realized they also wanted other things. So that's where home vet visit came in. That's where home grooming came in. That's where chat with a visit, book a clinic came in. And that's where the PetPal Club came in. So after a couple of months in the seed stage, we eventually pitched it sometime in May of 2023. And from then on, it became a portfolio company. We started developing the app, working more with our vets and clinics, and launching the mobile app sometime early this year.
That's interesting kasi from a head of department to being a founder, basically. So anong difference nun? What were your learnings and realizations when you were, I don't know, parang, did you ever consider yourself to being a founder one day?
No. I think at its very core, I'm an enabler. I like empowering other teams and other businesses in order to grow and scale and really impact more people's lives. So I didn't dream of a founder. But here's a concern, here's a pain point. I knew it had to be solved. I knew it had merit in it. And there's a reminder at home every day of that pain point via my dog. And I realized that, it wasn't a hard decision to make that leap of faith, to change roles. And being a senior venture builder, I get to use a lot of my skill set when it comes to growth marketing. And at the same time, I was thankful enough that I sat in a lot of meetings with other venture builders, with product people, with business development people, with the management team of 917 Ventures. And I was basically a sponge absorbing information for the last couple of years. So everything that I learned, from the successes to the opportunities to the gaps, I bring now to the table. So it is a sizable shift. There are challenges when it comes to transitioning to a new role, but I wouldn't have it any other way. All you need lang naman is perseverance and a big ounce of passion in order to get the job done.
Now, sa lahat ng mga napakinggan mo sa mga meetings, no, and I assume you've listened to pitches or I don't know how they did it, yung mga propositions nila. What's the common denominator ba sa mga nag-succeed?
It's solving a nagging pain point. And I want to hone in on the modifier nagging. There are a lot of pain points in the Philippines right now, but what we want to do in 917 Ventures is to solve a nagging pain point. As long as there's a problem worth solving, as long as it uplifts the lives of Filipino people, and as long as there's a market for it, I think that's already, it doesn't automatically mean success, but it's a path towards success and scaling and impacting more people.
And if nagging siya, it's gonna be there for a while. So
It's
you
gonna
have
be there for a
something,
while, correct.
something that you have to fix for a while.
And then yung sustainability new idea.
Yeah. So what's your advice for those that are aspiring to start a business and being a founder, a startup founder? Any tips? Ano bang hinahanap ng mga investors? How do they I mean, mention mo na yung nagging, diba? That one. Pero the question really is how to communicate that pitch.
Keep it simple. That's really my biggest advice for everyone. Oftentimes, a lot of founders or a lot of budding founders tend to focus on the product and the technicality of the product, but at its very core, startups solves problems. Hone in on the problem. Tell a story how it tries to solve that problem. Tell a story of how it will impact customers. And then once you really identify that, once you understand that, how the product is shaped becomes so much more easier because it's already creating a product that solves those pain points. So keep that kind of horizon in mind. That should be the picture that they paint in their pitch decks or in their ideas. And if there's merit and if there's a problem really worth solving, the pitch becomes easier. And then later on, everything is just parang icing on the cake, your financials, your operational efficiency. But if you don't have a problem worth solving, everything really crumbles and falls apart.
Now, you already mentioned future plans, including basically becoming a super app for pets. How soon, and any milestones that you can share, and any milestones that you intend to hit in the next couple of years?
So really, partnering with more vets and clinics and really empowering and supporting them. That's one of the major focus areas that we have right now. Launching new services, definitely services that will impact more people. And that's also the reason why we have a feedback loop with our customers to understand what else they need and what else they want. If we're lucky enough and this product really flies in the Philippine market, we know that Southeast Asia has a big population of pet owners. And there is an opportunity for us to actually play in other markets. I'm pretty sure that vets and clinics also face the same kind of problems that our vets and clinics face here, and it's similar to the pet owners. Is there an opportunity for us to work with the associations there and bring PetPal to other countries?
So is this a future unicorn then? If you're planning on expanding in Southeast Asia or Asia? Pressure ba?
Pressure. The unicorn conversation is always a nice conversation, and it's always a great goal in mind. But I think right now our focus is just to really help pet owners and continue helping pet owners. So I guess that's my initial goal in mind. If the unicorn thing happens,
it will happen.
It will happen, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time, Carlo, and best of luck to PetPal.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, let's continue the conversation. Download the Rappler Communities app and join the Money channel. And let's talk about business and all other things about the economy. Again, I'm Ralph Rivas. This has been another episode of Business Sense. Thanks for watching.